it's Marissa. So you're thinking about getting your real estate license? Stick around. I am sharing all of my tips and tricks to help you get started. My first tip is to get somebody that you know, a trusted friend, family member, or a mentor that can help you through the process of getting your license and can give you insight on the industry and see if it would be a good fit for you. If you are able, I would recommend reaching out to a current real estate agent who is actively working in the industry. They can give you the most up-to-date insight and probably some more tips and tricks that are relevant to the time frame. And I hope that I can also be a valuable resource in getting your real estate license. My second tip is to start saving your money. So you're gonna wanna do this really early on. Once you decide, yes, I'm going into a career in real estate, you've asked all your questions to your mentor or your friend, and you decide that you're gonna go into real estate, I would recommend saving about 3 months worth of income. And I would also recommend starting with a part-time job or a freelance situation, anything that works for you, but I would recommend having some supplemental income while you're getting started because you never know how slow or how fast things are gonna take off when you first start. You're essentially creating a business, which is a big deal, and it takes some time to do that. Personally, I stayed on at the company where I was previously working full-time and I transitioned to a part-time position. However, that position was in Green Bay and it required me to work 8-hour days. And so if something came up for work, I found it extremely difficult to kind of balance the two. And then I was speaking with my broker at one point and he mentioned that they needed someone to work on their social media, and it could be a freelance situation for me. So essentially that means I could work on it whenever I was able to. And that ended up working out extremely well for me. I'm actually still doing it because I love it and it's just nice to have that peace of mind. And again, supplemental income on the side. I would recommend finding something freelance or something flexible, something that will work with your real estate career very well. So you've talked to your friend, you've figured out that you want to go in real estate after asking millions and millions of questions, and you've started saving your money. What is next? So next is to take your pre-licensing course. Your pre-licensing course will help you to learn everything you're gonna need to know for the exam. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can take it in person or you can take it online. Personally, I took it online because it just worked better with my schedule. You can work at your own pace. But I would say personally, it took me about 4 months to finish the course. I was working full-time and I was coaching cheerleading on the side. So like every spare minute was devoted to this pre-licensing course. If, however, you wanted to get it done quicker, I'm sure that would be a possibility, but I just want to let you know my personal experience. It took me about 4 months and that gave me enough time to save money as well. So it ended up working out really well. Again, I took my course online. I took it through the CE shop. And they are, I believe, approved in all 50 states. So for sure, Wisconsin, you'll be good with that. The CE shop does often have promotions as well. So I bought mine around Christmas time. I think it was maybe like a Black Friday deal. And so I ended up getting a percentage off of my course, but just full transparency, my course did cost me $262.50. Now doing it on another online platform or in person might cost you more, might cost you less, but that's just something that you'll have to look into and figure out what is the right path for you. If you potentially already have credits through an educational institute, you will want to check on Wisconsin DSPS and see if you qualify for that as well. In order to make the pre-licensing course more manageable, I would really recommend setting a timeline for yourself. It's usually broken up into different sections, at least my course was, and so you can say, well, I'm going to do 2 sections a week or whatever works for you, and kind of plan out your timeline and when you're hoping to be done with the course. If you just wing it, it might take you a little bit longer, or you might procrastinate, so I would recommend setting a timeline for yourself. On the CE shop, you can also take as many practice tests as you would like, and I ended up taking practice tests until I could consistently get over a 90%. And as of right now, you need a 75% to pass the real estate licensing exam. I found the CE shop to be extremely helpful for that. It was really nice to have like unlimited practice tests for sure. The next step, which can come before taking your exam or after taking your exam, but personally I did it before because I wanted that peace of mind. I wanted enough time And I kind of knew already which brokerage I was leaning towards. And so the next step is to get affiliated with a brokerage. Like I said, you can do this after you take your exam as well. But I would recommend reaching out to anyone you are interested in working with, and having a list of questions compiled already. I am also planning on making a video of questions you can ask potential brokerages as well. After you have taken your pre-licensing course and you have taken as many practice tests as you feel comfortable, it is time to schedule your exam. And I recommend scheduling this way far in advance, because I had set a timeline for myself and I kind of assumed that the testing center would be open every single day, like 8 to 5, and that was not the case. They had very limited days open. If you are hoping to take it right after you finish your pre-licensing course, I would recommend scheduling it a couple weeks before you're done with your pre-licensing course. So your exam is going to be scheduled, at least in Wisconsin, through Pearson Vue. They have practice tests as well, but I would not say they're true to the exam. It did make me feel better taking one of them and just knowing that I was doing everything I could to pass the exam. They are $20. They are not the full amount of questions that you are going to receive on the exam. So when I took my practice test from the CE shop, those were the full amount of questions that I was going to receive on the exam. As I'm filming this video, obviously everything is all subject to change, but when I took my exam through Pearson Vue, it was $64. Be aware that you can take your real estate licensing exam as many times as you want, but it is still going to be $64 every time you go back and take that exam. Hey everyone, it is Marissa editing the video, and I realized I forgot to talk about something. So if there are any other nervous test takers like me, you would want to know everything and anything there is to know about taking the exam. So I wanted to jump in and get to that. So the exam is on a computer. It is 140 questions, and you can go back and review your questions when you're all done with them. I highly recommend that, because I got to the end of my exam and I was like, I failed 100%. And then I went back and I reviewed my questions and I was like, you know what? I actually think I did pretty good. And then I did pass. Don't be discouraged if you don't pass on the first time, because you can take it as many times as you want. They will pretty much confiscate everything when you get there. I couldn't have my phone, couldn't have my keys. You put it all in a locker. You have to sit in this little like waiting room, and there's people taking other tests there. So there's people taking math tests and taking, maybe nursing exams. It's not all real estate related. They're all taking different exams. Pearson Vue is just a testing center. Pearson Vue does have like a YouTube channel and resources where you can find out more about the exam and kind of see like what to expect. But you're going to need your ID, and they're going to take a picture of you to put on your pass-fail sheet. So they are going to take a picture, and then you're going to need to empty your pockets, like everything. You can leave the test at any point if you need to go to the bathroom, but they put you in this room. They will give you the option to have like noise-canceling headphones, but I chose not to. They separate you pretty far from everyone as well. So you're on a computer, and then they have like these walls up the side so like no one can cheat. So you're pretty spread out, and it's pretty low-key, honestly, and I think you have about 2 hours to take the exam, so it's more than a minute per question, so don't stress out too much, and some of the questions will be really super easy and will not take you a full minute. So they will just have somebody kind of watching you and monitoring you as you are taking the exam, and if you ever need to go to the bathroom or anything like that, you just like raise your hand, I'm pretty sure. And they come and get you and pause your test and take you out of the exam, and then you go back in. So it is really nothing to worry about. I worry about it a lot, but I just wanted to give any nervous test takers some hope and some clarification. Like I said, there was not a lot of information out there when I was going through the process of getting my license and taking my exam. So I just wanted to be as helpful as possibly can be. All right, next step, you passed your exam. It is time to apply for your license. You're gonna go onto Wisconsin DSPS, which is the Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services, and you are going to scroll down and find real estate salesperson in the list of careers. And it'll take you to a page where it'll tell you everything you need to know about re-licensing and getting your license and applying for your license, and there are a few different forms on that site as well. So you're just going to scroll down and you are going to find the application for a real estate salesperson. You're going to fill that out. You might need your broker's information as well, and they might need to fill out a portion also. So just get in touch with them. That's why I recommend getting affiliated with a brokerage before you take your exam, because it just might make things go a little bit quicker, and they might be able to give you some tips and insight on the exam and kind of help you out there. When you apply for your license, you are going to need a certificate of completion for your pre-licensing course, a copy of your past exam sheet. When you are done with the exam, they should print out a sheet. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna tell me if I passed or failed, and they did not tell me. They just printed off a sheet, folded it up, and handed it to me, and so I didn't look at it until I got out in the car. So you're gonna need a copy of that as well, stating that you passed the exam, and then there is a $75 fee, so you can usually send that just on a check. Once you hear back from DSPS that you have received your real estate license, you may think, all right, it's time for me to start selling houses. And unfortunately, that is not the case. This is why I recommend getting affiliated with a brokerage really far in advance, because they can help you through so many of these steps. After I received word that my license was approved and I was officially a real estate salesperson, I went into my office and my office administrator helped me fill out a few forms to be associated with our local board and MLS. Another side note is that you are not technically considered a realtor until you are affiliated with your local board and a part of the National Association of Realtors or the Wisconsin Realtors Association. So you technically can't call yourself a realtor unless you are associated with those things. Up until that point, you are just a real estate agent or real estate salesperson, and make sure you are using the proper listing of the word as well. They usually require like the trademark symbol behind it, so just look into that and make sure you are using it properly. When you start saving in the beginning for those 3 months worth of income and for any expenses you might incur, make sure that you account for your local board's fees. I would account about $1,000 I would set aside for that. I think it ended up being around $800 or so for me because I came in April, and so I got like a couple of the months knocked off. But I would budget about $1,000 for your association fees and to be included in the MLS. Also, your local board's fees will need to be renewed and paid every year in the fall. They're not as much as the initial ones, at least for me they were not. I want to say they were around like $600 or $700 for me this year. Remember, you can always use that as a deduction, so keep track of all your expenses relating to your business, but you will need to pay that every year. Next thing, which is totally optional but highly recommended, and if it's offered through your brokerage, awesome, is to budget for classes or mentoring. For example, I took Brian Buffini's 100 Days to Greatness class, and fortunately, Think Hallmark had us pay up front so that we would have a little skin in the game, and then once we were done, we were reimbursed over our next few closings. So it was almost like you paid for it up front, but then you got all your money back for it in the end. But I would recommend saving for some mentoring options and some classes. I do really highly recommend 100 Days to Greatness. That was about $400, so if you want to take that, make sure that you start saving right in the beginning. Next thing you are going to need to do is to stock up on stamps, stock up on business cards, stock up on blank cards, envelopes, anything like that. You're going to want to budget for all of your office supplies. So I had to buy my desk, I had to buy my printer, I had to buy, various things along the way. But stamps are a big thing that I always love to have on hand. Business cards as well. I would recommend going through Canva. I can't remember how much I order each time. I think it's like $200 or $250, and they're about $40 each time. So make sure that in the beginning you also budget for that. Last but not least, you are going to need to take continuing education and renew your license every 2 years on the even year. So this year is 2022, so this is the year that we have to finish our continuing education and renew our license. I really hope this was helpful to all of you thinking about getting your real estate license or just starting. I personally was very confused when I was working towards my real estate license, and I don't want anyone else to have to go through that. So this is why I filmed this video. But the main things are saving money, taking your pre-licensing course, taking your actual exam, getting affiliated with a brokerage, and applying for your license. And if you do have any questions come up about getting your license, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would absolutely love to help and be your trusted friend in this process. Good luck.